All of this lasted, I would say, no longer than a full 60 seconds. It was very quick. And I'm over here wiping my eyes, and my sister shared a message with me. It was all she said and all she had to say that changed my life. She said to me, "You are in the right place." And then her energy turned into three fireflies and she flew away. Hi, my name is Isobel Avian. I am a musician, sound healer, and I very recently started running a podcast I call Reset on the Sound. I'm in the Puget Sound region in Seattle, Washington, and I am so passionate about helping people find their unique voice and resonance while also working deeply within Mother Earth, integrating, anchoring. They all work together, and my, with my own experience of working this way with Mother Earth and integrating the energies, I actually recently have legally changed my name. I was previously known as Mary Lydia Ryan. I've been a professional musician for since my 20s and playing music before that. So I've found a way to integrate my spirituality, passion for my music and healing and bringing them all together in various ways. And I'd love to share my story, how my life really took a huge turn. I've always been a very spiritual person, though I grew up very religious, very religiously based, Mormon, born in Provo, Utah. And the rest of my adolescence mostly was spent in Salt Lake City until I moved up to Seattle in '89. And I I was in and out of the church for several years when I moved up here and eventually left the Mormon church. So I was living a very non-Mormon standard lifestyle, and my beliefs were really growing and also really leading me to a place where I was cutting God off more and more because my beliefs had been, well, if I'm not Mormon, then what else really is there? I mean, that seems like a lot of brainwashing, but that's where I was at. I think that's a common story. And going through a divorce, and I had two young children. So now going through life as a single mother, still reeling from all the emotions that came out of a difficult transformation, leaving a marriage, a 13-year marriage with two children. It was not easy, and on any of us in our family. And I found myself still reeling from, all the wounds of being a child, and all the ickiness of life felt like it was just gushing out, and I didn't know how to find my footing. Really, I would make progress and then I would just fall on my face again, make some more progress, feel like I was just falling. However, this pattern, this path that I was now on was leading me somewhere. It's like I could feel it. I didn't know what that meant. And then in late 2008, in June of 2008, I met whom I'm currently married to. Well, hopefully will stay married to. He is my best friend in the world, a beautiful man. And I met him in June 2008. 1 month later, I was on vacation with him back in upstate New York. And one night, we all went with his family to a Shakespeare festival at Boscobel Gardens. And this was new, exciting. I was having a wonderful time on this family vacation, meeting his family that are all from England, and they were congregated there. I was in a very happy place this week, this moment, this new relationship I had found was really lovely. And during the intermission of this Shakespeare festival, I don't even remember which play it actually was. It doesn't even matter to me at this point. This is when my life really, really changed. During intermission, I chose to go use the restroom that was way on the other side of the property where we had initially arrived. And we walked quite a ways to where the actual theater was. And I knew that the restrooms would be crowded very close to where we were at. So I chose to go take a walk to quite a distance away from where we were. It was quiet. There were very few people over there. And what happened is that on my way back from the restroom, I ran literally into the energy of my eldest sister who had passed away in 1997. And so a decade later, here was my sister that I was stunned. And it was such a stunning, not only was it stunning that she was visiting me because I thought I was unworthy of visits from the other side like this because I had left my religion and my beliefs. And so there was that already that was really striking me as like, whoa, how does she even love me enough to come visit me from the other side? The other thing is that I literally ran into her, her energy so much so that I bounced off of it. And it happened so quickly. I was just on my path, literally the sidewalk, walking back. So all of this happened so completely unexpectedly, out of the blue. I was stunned. I just immediately started sobbing. And I said literally, WTF, what is happening? Tears streaming down my face. I knew it was my eldest sister. And I could feel that absolutely enormous love that she had for me. There was no judgment. There was no, I can't believe you've been living your life, da 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 da, this way or that way. None of that existed. She was here. She loved me. She went to the lengths to make sure I knew she was with me. It was stunning in all aspects of this moment because of her tremendous love. And I could feel with her love, the love of God, whatever God actually really is. I felt it in that moment. And again, this all happened so quickly and being stunned and not prepared, I'm looking around to see if anyone else is near me. There were a couple of people that had already preceded me along this path, so I was pretty much alone. But there were little apple trees over on this side of me, and I made my way off the path and kind of tucked myself into one of the little apple trees that came up to about here on me, tucked myself in to wipe my eyes, and I'm sniffling, and all of this lasted, I would say, no longer than a full 60 seconds. It was very quick. And I'm over here wiping my eyes, and my sister shared a message with me. It was all she said and all she had to say that changed my life. She said to me, "You are in the right place." And then her energy turned into 3 fireflies, and she flew away. And that was stunning to me. I didn't know the energy would do that. And it was not at all of my belief system that I had grown up with. None of this really was any part of what I had been taught would be a spiritual, something to be spiritually worthy of having or receiving. And her message to me at that moment changed everything for me. Knowing I was worthy of her love, knowing I was worthy of God's love, knowing I wasn't a failure for everything all the changes that I was working so hard to make in my life. And even though I would move forward and then fall back and fall flat on my face again, I knew in that moment that all of those successes were also amazing. And I was being loved and congratulated for those. Everything made sense in my life while not really making any sense at all. And with this experience happening, number one, I didn't know how I was going to tell this new man that I was dating. I didn't know how to go back and be present in the rest of the Shakespeare play that we were in the midst of. I just didn't even know what to do, but I did my best to compose myself and dry my tears, and kind of went back in a daze like, whoa, I can't even believe that this just happened. And I was so filled with love, and I was in awe. It's the best word. And so fast forward, I was able to tell this new man, who's now my husband, the next day what had transpired. And I told him, I mean, we'd only been dating a month. And I said, you're either going to think I'm really crazy or I don't know, but here's what happened. And he was so incredibly supportive. He's like, I don't think you're crazy. And he just hugged me tight. He said that. I can't remember what else he said after that, but I don't think you're crazy was all I needed to hear. And he's still with me today. And that was 16 years ago. What transpired in the months after following this experience is that I just wanted to understand, what was that? How did that happen? What can I do to have more of these experiences? So then I was on a journey of reading, trying to build my psychic abilities and exercise that muscle. And then in all of the work that I was doing, and I was still juggling being a single mom, trying to help all the emotions that all of us felt coming through the fallout of our family crumbling. There were so many things happening, and what I found is that my sister Wendy continued to come back during the next 2.5 years. She literally was my coach, my guide, my mentor. I could see her. She wasn't as physical with me anymore as that very first day in June of 2008, but she was, I could see her in my third eye, and I could feel her energy, and she was there every single day, coaching me and loving me. And she was showing me, I was in such a pit of fear and not knowing how I'm going to live my life and be a single mom and be responsible while loving these beautiful children that I have been gifted with. I wanted to be so present for them, and my life was such a wreck. I didn't know how to be the best mom when my life was such a mess. And my sister was such an incredible guide, and she taught me presence. She taught me how to step out of fear. And sometimes it was moment by moment. Sometimes I would be in a puddle on the floor, sobbing my eyes out, and she would be with me, loving me still, saying, I know you can do this, and I'm here with you. And she was. And she taught me how to leave a life of fear and anxiety and build a new life of peace, tranquility, love, and change my own reality. And I had heard, teachers speak of how we have the power within us to change our own reality, but I didn't know how to do that. And my sister was my guide and my mentor. She helped me little by little. She had to do a lot of coaching. And there were many times I really fought with her. I'm like, I can't do that. That doesn't make any sense. She just loved me, and she says, give it a try. And as I continued to trust her and give her advice a try, my life became more and more peaceful. And I want to add that I was led to the right resources, contacts. I had literal earth angels helping me. There were so many years climbing out of this hole that I had felt I was in. So many earth angels coming to support me and love me and provide shelter, food, warmth when it was not always available for me. I wasn't able in some times of my life to provide all of the things that I needed. And these earth angels stepped in that I will forever be grateful for. And that was another thing that I found, that if my heart is willing to go to this place of outside of fear, and to trust God and to trust my inner knowing and wisdom and heart and trust my guides and angels, the right resources will be brought to me. And I found it time and time and time again. And when my mind would get in the way and second guess myself, I would have my guides come back in, and particularly my sister was the strongest guide there for me, letting me know you really can do this. And all these years later, I've just really truly built an entirely different reality. I have a very, very loving husband and support team. I have a wonderful community of friends. My kids are doing really well. They're doing great. They've been through some very difficult times, and I would say they're really thriving right now. Even going through what I thought were almost impossible challenges to step out of. We've made it. And I am just so grateful for Spirit, for God, for our guides, for our mentors that step in to provide the help. And if we will trust, they are such incredible support for us to work with to rebuild our lives and our realities. So thank you for listening to that. I think that pretty much gives you an idea of how I've changed my life. And I've gotten to the point in my life now where I've been able to go deep within my intuitive gifts. I've now become a sound healer. I've always been a singer, songwriter, musician, but I've been able to take my passion for music and combine it with energy healing work that I love to offer. And so I do sound healing here in my little healing studio. And I think I mentioned I have a brand new podcast, bringing through songs that I hear when I sit with Mother Earth. I hear her songs and I hear and feel her messages. And though I was planning to begin a podcast, my goal was to present really soft, gentle, meditative music. And as I sat with Mother Earth, she asked me if I would please sing songs that she sings to me. And that has become the basis of my brand new podcast, Reset on the Sound. So that's what's led me to what I'm doing now. And thank you for listening.
Nice. Thanks for sharing. Okay, so I know that you're a super talented musician, and I want you to share a little bit about how does spirit and creativity, how does it play out in your life? How do you think that it plays out in the collective? Talk a little bit about that.
I think we as human beings, we are spiritual beings as well as in this physical form. I think all of us are built with creativity. It's just a part of what spirit is, what God, what this beautiful flowing energy that is within us is. It is creativity. It is music. It is brilliance, genius. And I also believe that each of us come in here, with different highlighted gifts. I really think we all are so talented in probably any area, but I also believe that we come into lifetimes wanting to play around in very specific fields. So I think for me in this lifetime, I know that I have really wanted to be a musician where I get to explore the power of voice. Now, I've come from being very, very insecure. I worked so hard at finding my own voice and finding the strength within my voice, though I've loved singing my entire life and I've been performing since I was very young. I was 2.5 years old when I had my first live performance. And as a kid, I would just do it. It was wonderful. But I began feeling self-conscious and all these things that came in, and I was really shut down, even though I wanted to perform and I wanted to be in front of people just to share joy. It was really more about sharing joy. And it has been a lot of work for me to go back to finding that joy. I've had to relearn how to find that inner child and my voice, and recognizing again, remembering it's okay to be authentic. It's okay to sing from my heart and to be dramatic and not be shut down. It's for me, I think in this lifetime, my exploration, my desire to explore all of the layers of what it is to feel and then to be self-conscious and to be shut down and then say, no, I can overcome that and reemerge. And I've been able to go through all of those experiences. And again, coming back to, I guess, recognizing the true or spiritual nature that I am as a human being and a spiritual person living in this human body, I get so lit up to share spirituality and healing and the music for helping people find more of themselves. So for me, my biggest joy is taking the gifts that I have been developing all in remembering all of this lifetime and being able to express still for my own enjoyment and also extending that joy and wrapping other people up in the joy of the creativity and saying you can find joy in this too, and being able to find healing in the frequencies and the energies of that just I don't think anything in my life excites me more than that. I hope I answered your question, Betty.
You did. I know that you're so passionate about music, and I feel like being a human is a super creative thing. But then some of us have this ability to funnel that into other forms of creativity. So thank you for sharing that. And I know that you've had a lifetime of mystical experiences in your life. I just want to give you space to share about any other ones that are coming to the surface that you feel like you want to share with the audience.
I'd love to. Thank you for that. It's been really, I've been very shy about talking about this part of what's been really, really coming up mystically for me. And my insides, my heart says, get over it. It's okay. I don't need to be shielded and guarded by it anymore. Is this my newer iteration of being able to translate the frequencies and the codes that I feel from Mother Earth and literally hearing the music of it, not always every time, but what happens with me is when I work with Mother Earth, when I sit with her, I really love to spend time communing with her, sitting on the soil, and I can feel the frequencies and the reverberation of all these energies and codes coming up, and they come up through my legs, my feet, my legs, and through my body. And sometimes on the spot, I can translate what I'm feeling and what that means. Sometimes that unfolds over days, weeks, and months even. But this is what, how can I put this into words? The last, I'd say 5 years of my life, this is really where my intuitive gifts have gotten stronger, is being able to connect like this with Mother Earth and feel the messages and the frequencies and the codes. And this has just blossomed me as an individual. And I'm so excited about what has happened within my own transformation. I even have, I talk about it on my own YouTube channel. This is what led to my changing my name legally. I had such a tremendous experience working with Mother Earth and just feeling more and more of my own spiritual essence that I no longer was, though I'm still, the Mary Lydia resides within me, but I'm way more than who Mary Lydia Ryan has been and was. And I wanted more of me. I wanted to open up to way, way, way more of me. And this transformation has come through working with Mother Earth. And so this has become a part of my work that is just growing exponentially. And, I went to the IANDS conference this last year for the second time in a row. It was in Arizona. And I was able to be in the healers practitioners lounge as a sound healer. And so that meant that I would have anyone who came onto my table, they would go on headphones and listen to a pre-recorded transmission that I had prepared, which I did right here in my studio and blew me away. I was in here, in a very meditative channeling state, bringing in these frequencies, codes, putting in layers of music that would be this transmission for people to receive in the Healers Lounge. I was just over halfway through and kind of stopping to feel like, where should I go next? What comes next in this piece? And my three favorite trees that I go to regularly, and they're not next to each other, they're at different parts of the city. They literally came into my little sailboat studio that I'm in here and said, we want to help you finish this. And I'm looking at, they were over here on the side of me, and I'm looking at them going, whoa, how does this work? What's happening? It blew me away. And they said, we'll guide you through it. And I said, okay, I'll try to get out of my head, get out of my way. And I said, show me what to do. And it was my first very grounding tree. I have a tree friend I go to. He said I can call him Alphonse. I do. So Alphonse came in and he showed me, or he kind of sang this tone to me. So then I did my best to recreate it, and I put the chord down on my keyboard and I held that out from this point out to the very end of the transmission. And I'm like, okay, that worked. That's good. So who's next? And my next friend, tree friend Jacqu, says, okay, now I can sing this next part. And again, I'm like, how do you do that? I don't know what this is going to be like. Try to get out of the way of my voice to allow him. It's not like he was getting inside my body. It was that I was able to get my brain out of the way and listen to the song that Jacques was singing and sing it as he was singing it. It was the best way I can describe. And it was really, really fun. So Jacques starts singing this song and I just follow it. I follow it with my voice. And when you listen to the transmission, you can hear his song. And as he is singing it, I had tears flowing because his song was just showing and bringing in all this huge loving energy from Mother Earth. And it was this love song of, you are so loved. You are everything you need to be. And just kept singing it. And you can hear it's very lyrical, very much a story. And he finishes, I could tell when he was done. And then my third tree, who was my mother tree, who sadly just toppled over last week. I'm still devastated. Her name is Josephine, and she was still with us. And she came in and she sang such a beautiful mother lullaby love song of comfort, cherishing. I could feel Divine Mother's love coming in through her. I could feel Mother Gaia's love coming up through her and singing this tender, tender song as a mother would holding her little child. it was so beautiful. And then this transmission just ends on this very quiet, loving note. And that's how that worked. And it was a wrap, and I just sat here in the studio, like in awe again, how spirit works and how spirit is able to flow through us when we allow it. And the gifts to be able to interact and commune with Mother Earth in the ways that have opened up to me. And it's taken my willingness. And oh, it's just been a treasure. And I love it so much. I look forward to seeing what continues to grow from these experiences. So.
I love the way that you're talking about this. I'm wondering if you could share with the audience ways for them to connect to Mother Earth. How do they get a relationship like the relationship that you have with Spirit?
I think in connecting with Mother Earth, I feel like it's a great way to start if you don't necessarily feel like you have a lot of spiritual experiences, or if you haven't really been able to see or hear or feel presences. Um, I think connecting with Mother Earth is a really, really potent way to start feeling what that feels like, the spirit, because Mother Earth's, and I think she's getting stronger in how she radiates out to us. I recommend, I mean, the trees, it's a very common thing you hear, but trees are so easy to connect with. If you can go out in your neighborhood or backyard and find a tree that you feel like, oh, for some reason, like you probably have a tree that you've already noticed for some reason, whatever that reason is. Maybe it's because the tree has actually been calling to you. Do you love the tree because it's beautiful? Whatever reason, it doesn't matter. If you have a tree that you already feel drawn to, go sit with the tree. And even if they don't have roots that are super visible, you can, put a towel down or whatever. Just, you don't have to come prepared. But if you don't want to get your butt dirty, I get my butt dirty all the time because I just love being right on the soil. But sometimes I'll take towels out, blankets, and I'll just plop down and put my back up against the trunk, and I'll just sit there and close my eyes, and I allow my feelings to just whoosh, kind of whoosh out of me, and just get comfortable in that spot and just be present. Present with, what do you feel? Do you feel the bark on the back of your jacket or shirt? What does that feel like? And then try to go deeper. What's behind that bark? What's underneath you? What are the roots? What maybe do those roots look like at this tree that you're sitting with that maybe you can't see the roots? And see if you can feel any sensation, if you feel any sort of tingling or vibration. It might be subtle, but try to sink into it a little more and just feel it. And try to feel it deeper. That's like the best way to start, is just incrementally start to feel more, and then go a little deeper or back a little further and expand, feeling that, and that's where it grows. And then pretty soon, it won't surprise me if you're like becoming one with that tree. And once you become one with that tree or the grass, or you're staring at a flower and you're suddenly realizing you and the flower are like in the same energy and field, and just keep feeling into it. That's the best way to start, to have these sort of experiences with Mother Earth. And then do not be surprised if you get any telepathic messages. They're really good at sending telepathic messages. And if you think, oh my gosh, I'm crazy, give me a call or just send me an email. I'm like, no, you're not crazy. They love to talk with us.
Thank you so much for that. On this same thread, I'm wondering, you shared about this after death communication that you have access to with your sister. And why do you think that some people have access to their loved ones and some other people don't? Can you share about if you know of any tips or tools that people can use?
That's a really good question. I, my experience has been this feels like this was very much pre-orchestrated before this lifetime because my sister not only has come in the ways that she has for me personally, she's also come in many times for my other sisters. And sometimes I'll be on the phone with my sister just older than me, who introduced me to IANDS too, by the way, Judy. She's been wonderful, and I'm so grateful she introduced me to IANDS. We'll be on the phone talking, and we can feel our sister Wendy's presence come in when we're talking about, all the work we've done through music. For instance, music has been a theme for my family. I'm the youngest of 8 children. And music has been a theme for our family to work through so many layers of generational healing, learning how to navigate life and being in this human form and spirituality. It's just been our teacher in so many ways. And when our sister Wendy comes in, it's just, we've had this knowing that, oh, this was all like, this is what we chose. Music would be our theme. Wendy was going to leave this plane early. She died at 48 years old, way too young to go. But the way she has helped our family from the other side, it's just become very apparent to us this was all the pre-orchestration of how this was going to play out. Of course, we still have our free agency and we could, veer off path. But then she kind of knocks on our door saying, hey, you got a little far out there. We need to reel you back in because it's time to do this other work. So for my family, I feel like that's why this has happened. Everybody is so individual. And I think if you personally have not had an experience with a loved one coming to visit you or a friend who has passed away, it could be that there is another guide in another form. It might be in the form of an animal that is providing a similar learning, teaching experience for you. I think our guide, oh, I don't think I've seen that our guides come in so many different forms. They might come through our children also. Our children are such amazing teachers. If we can start to learn what are these lessons that my children are here to teach me, those are tremendous guides. So I think they just come in so many different forms. I think we all are equipped with guides and they will come in when we're willing and sometimes when we least expect. But if we're open to receiving the spiritual help and guidance, I think if we can just remain open that way and then see who and what comes in. I just, I feel like they're going to come in so many different ways. So maybe not have an expectation of what it would look like and just, again, remain open to the possibility and curiosity. I think being curious really leaves a lot of space. I think that's so much of what it's about is having the space for it and the curiosity.
Yes, I love that so much. Sometimes when I ask a guest a question, I'm like hoping that they're going to say the same thing that I think. But that's what just happened. So I just want to give you some space to share. Thank you so much for coming and being part of this community and serving our community at IANDS in this way. I just want to see if there's anything else that you'd like to share to feel more complete about our time together.
What I would love to share that I haven't really had the opportunity is that when I was at the IANDS conference this last year, so this was my second year to attend. First year was phenomenal. I loved it. Such a beautiful community. And it's so wonderful to be with a community where everybody is just so open and loving. And I didn't feel like a nut there. It was so amazing. I loved it so much. So grateful for that. And then my second year being back, it was the very last day, the closing ceremony, and so the whole auditorium was so filled with people, and I saw this golden light that was all of our energy field had become just this tremendous golden light. I didn't notice this the first year there. I think I was kind of getting used to being there in the first place, and this year I was just, I think, a lot more relaxed and free and open, and seeing this golden expanded light, it was like all of us sitting in these seats were this, and we'd become this huge collective of this enormous, loving, golden light. And I saw this and felt it within me, and I was again in awe. I loved it so much. And that has struck me. It stuck with me ever since coming home. I have I've remembered that golden light and what was created there. And for me in my heart, it was like, that was not accidental. That was we, all of us willing participants to be there, building this love, this huge love energy on the planet. And then we've gone back to our homes and we're continuing. And that love and that light hasn't died. We've just continued it out and it's expanding. And that has fed me so many times when I've had, some challenges from August and coming here. I remember that. And I'm like, that light doesn't die. And how big and bright is it going to be next year? And it's feeding me. It's like, I'm so excited to go back to the next IANDS conference and see that golden light and see how expansive it's become next year. So I'm glad I had somewhere to share that. Thanks, Betty.
Oh my goodness, I love that. Yes, shameless plug for our conferences. They are amazing. You're basically in a space with 700 people who do not fear death. And I've never experienced an energy like that before. It is so palpable. I love your description of the energy that you saw. So, yeah, if anybody's listening and they want to come and experience a huge ray of golden light all shining out of hundreds of people, please come. It's guaranteed to happen. Isabel, thank you so much for your service to our community. We're going to leave our audience with a little taste of your beautiful music and the healing frequencies that come through it. So I just want to thank you again for your time, your energy, and for sharing your gifts and your story with us today. We'll see you next time.